Is flood zone AE bad for homeowners? Here are 3 reasons why flood zone AE might be bad for homeowners. Hi, I'm Chris with the Flood Insurance Guru. And more than a decade ago, I bought a house in flood zone AE, and guess what? It was bad news for me. I almost lost my house. That's why I've been helping homeowners like yourself for the last decade avoid what I went through. So let's talk about this real quick, and that is flood zone AE. Why is it bad for homeowners? Well, first reason is you have to buy mandatory flood insurance if you have a mortgage. What this means is that you're going to have an additional expense on top of your regular insurance when you go to buy this house. On average, we see this amount being $100 to $150 a month. That's not to say you're going to pay that. That's just on average. That's just one reason why it's bad. The next reason why it's bad is because flood zone AE is considered to be a special flood hazard area. This means that within any given year, it's got a 1% chance of flooding. This means that typically flood insurance premiums are much higher. In fact, my flood insurance premiums were supposed to be $300. Guess what? They were going to be $3,000 is what we found out 2 weeks before closing. Skyrocketing my housing payment, making me to almost lose my house. Now, the third reason why flood zone AE is bad for homeowners is because of property value. Look, I'm not a real estate agent. Talk to a real estate agent on this. All I can tell you is the experience I had, and that was that it set my property value down about 20%. So if you're potentially looking at buying a house in flood zone AE, or you already own a house in flood zone AE and you're trying to figure out what you can do about that, here's the good news. It doesn't have to be bad for you like it was me. First of all, let's talk about the mandatory flood insurance requirement. You see, if you are buying here or already bought here and you have an elevation certificate that shows that you're above the base flood elevation, that's FEMA's flood level, that means that you could qualify for a flood zone change. That's exactly what I did on my property. And it saved me thousands of dollars a year. The next thing is now, you don't have to go through what I did with a super expensive flood insurance generally. You can look at private flood insurance, and you can do that by clicking in the link of this video, and you can also download our guide to flood insurance. I'm Chris with the Flood Insurance Guru, and I look forward to speaking to you in our next video. And remember, everybody's in a flood zone. It's just a matter how close to water you want to be.